one. Good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here, taking a look at your tropical update for July 24th of 2019. Again, like always, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. Things active in the tropics, sure, but not terrible. Water temps out there right now starting to heat up pretty good, hanging out in the mid to upper 80s across parts of the Gulf of Mexico. Pretty normal this time of the year. Actually still running a little below average in the Caribbean. Good news for us. And as you head out into the open Atlantic, where it is running above average is along the Gulf Stream and then out into the kind of the northern central Atlantic out here. But closer to home, where it matters, thankfully the water is warm, maybe slightly above average, but not, as hot as it's been in the past couple of months, where we've had temperatures, sea surface temperatures at like 90 degrees in some places. The reason, well, we've got a lot of thunderstorm activity out there. The National Hurricane Center is highlighting this area as an area of interest. This isn't an invest yet, and it's certainly not a tropical depression or tropical storm. It's just a cluster of thunderstorms out here. They've dropped the chance of development over the next couple of days to just 10%. I made mention of this last night on the news. This is one of those situations where we don't usually get cold fronts through the area in July. The weather models aren't producing anything out of this. You run the weather models out and they say, are we going to get a tropical storm or a depression or a hurricane or whatever out of this? And they don't show anything. However, this is kind of an anomalous event. It doesn't happen very often. And so the National Hurricane Center, despite the fact that the computer models don't say anything, still wanted to say 10, 20% chance that we see something out of this, because there's just not enough. Let me back up. It hasn't happened enough where the computers can get a good hold of the data and say, oh, this is what happens when stuff like this happens. Because we don't have enough data to back it up, I think the Hurricane Center was going, well, let's just play it safe here and say 10 to 20% chance. But so far, I hadn't really shown much in the way of development, which is great news. Out into the Caribbean you go. We're nice and quiet, a little bit of troughiness out here. Open Atlantic, not much happening there either. We do have a couple of waves out here that are getting ready and set to roll off of the coast of Africa. But even those, as we look over the models, don't look really like they're going to do much of anything. We've got a whole mess of dry air out here in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and they're just wreaking havoc on any of these waves that come off the African coast. That's the little green and yellow stuff in there. That's the areas of low-level vorticity or low-level spin. All this grayed out area is the dry air in the mid-levels, and it's just eating this stuff for breakfast. Even closer to home, where, maybe not as dry in the mid-levels across parts of the Gulf of Mexico, there's just really not much to speak of in terms of vorticity, and we get pile-driven with another batch of Saharan dust as we head through, as you take a look at the date up here, August 3rd or so, roughly. Not much really happening in the tropics as we head through the next couple of weeks, which we'll take every day of the week, let's be honest. Anyway, there's a look at your tropical update. All things are reasonably quiet. We've got that one little area close to home, just off the coast here, but as of now, it's not a real big concern. This is for July 24th of 2019, and as always, Tropical Update brought to you by Pine Belt Gutters.